All right, well, driving the market action in the NASDAQ today, that disappointment from Meta. Shares are off just about 15% here in the pre-market action after the tech giant's big spending plan spooked investors. Well, Meta will likely wipe out $200 billion of its market cap at the opening bell.
All right, some updates on the Metaverse today. We are releasing Meta Horizon OS, our operating system that powers Quest virtual and mixed reality headsets. And we are partnering with some of the best hardware companies out there to design new headsets that are optimized for all the different ways that people use this tech. Now, in every era of computing, there are always open and closed models. And with phones, Apple's closed model basically won out. Phones are tightly controlled, and you're kind of locked into what they'll let you do. But it doesn't have to be that way.
And then Reality Labs, the losses in that division, $3.8 billion, that's less than the losses of $3.9 billion in the year-ago quarter, and also less than the losses of $4.3 billion that was expected. But it does seem like those higher expenses are weighing on the stock right now. Back over to you.
Higher expenses, Victoria, and weaker revenue, at least at the midpoint. Has Mark Zuckerberg at this point earned the right to spend this much money as long as it's not on the Metaverse?
Yeah, Reality Labs, I think that black hole, we're getting a little tired. We'd like to see a little less burn in there. And the CapEx is a little bit concerning. They've done such a great job the year of efficiency.
As we're scaling CapEx and energy expenses for AI, we'll continue focusing on operating the rest of our company efficiently. But realistically, even with shifting many of our existing resources to focus on AI, we'll still grow our investment envelope meaningfully before we make much revenue from some of these new products.
Meta expects overall sales to be between $36.5 and $39 billion. Its midpoint has fallen short of analysts' forecast of $38.2 billion. A second aspect of Meta's report clouding the first quarter performance results is the company's massive investments in AI. Mark Zuckerberg's analyst call was dominated by how Meta will ramp up AI investments, increasing the cost by $10 billion just this year. Zuckerberg asserted the investment will be necessary before the company can even expect to see any major returns.
Okay guys, we've been working very hard on this AI-backed platform that enables individual and professional investors to query 10K, 10Q and earning call reports. And this platform is set to revolutionize the way you invest in stock, as it is going to enhance your efficiency thanks to the AI that will quickly process and analyze the vast amount of data in these financial reports, and also highlights the trends, enabling you to make a better decision regarding your investment. And as a matter of fact, all the insight you will see in this video was gotten from this platform. So currently the platform is at a beta version, and we are looking for investors to try it for free and provide us with feedback. So if you are interested, please subscribe to our Substack. The link is in the description, and thank you very much. Let's go back to the video. So we've all seen what's happening to Meta since their Q1 earnings call. 17% decline in their stock price that day, from $490 to $425. Meta also is now releasing their operating system, Horizon OS, which is going to become an open source. And on the competition side, Apple is cutting Apple Vision's Pro production due to low demand. Is this the end of the Metaverse? Basically, what does the future hold for all the people that hold Meta stock? And in this video, we are going to be discussing that. We've looked at the financial figures, technology, the market as well. And we are here to tell you whether Meta is still a good buy or not. But again, this is not financial advice, so we are just giving you our point of view on this. And guys, if this is your type of content, like and subscribe, and tell us in the comment what you think of Meta. Is it a good buy or not? And give us your reason. So let's get into it there. What do you think of these crazy things that's been happening with Meta stock in the past few days?
If you go back about a year ago, Meta declared the year of efficiency. And by declaring that, they fired about, I think, 10,000 or 8,000 employees. Managers who don't code will no longer be managers at Meta. Meta reduced headcount, and they decided to also cut spending on the metaverse. This has essentially helped them to grow their stock again. Went from about $100 to now $400. And the $400 only came after Meta announced that they were going to start paying dividends. So in their last earning call, Meta announced that it was going to be investing another 35 to 40 billion in AI and the metaverse. But based on what I said previously, investors were extremely unhappy because Meta was spending so much money on the metaverse and wasn't making any revenue or earning. They spent about 10 billion previously on the metaverse, and they have almost nothing to show for it. They have a device which is the Quest Meta or Meta Quest, but the sales are not there to justify the
Exactly.
spend.
Do you know, I totally agree with you first, and then I have the figures to back everything you are saying, right? So these are the numbers that I wanted to share with you, and basically this is what's happening for people that are not too familiar or haven't spent time looking at the Q1 earnings report from Meta. So the first thing that is happening is the fact that in Q1 2024, Meta actually made 36.5 billion, which is the one that I'm pointing to here. And analysts were predicting that they would made 1 billion less. So basically Meta beat what the analyst predicted on Wall Street. So basically the company is supposed to be doing quite well, which really doesn't make sense when you see when things are dropping in terms of the company's stock price. And going back to what Adair was saying, which is here regarding the capex, the company's capex in 2023 was around 28 billion, and in 2024 they were planning to spend between 30 billion and 35 billion. And this was going to be mostly on AI infrastructure, as Adair explained. And now they are saying that that number is going to increase by around 5 billion. So basically going to 35 billion and between 25 billion and 40 billion. So that's one of the things that drove traders and some very reactionary stockholders very, very mad, and they started trading the stock very heavily. But one thing that also backed the point that you were making regarding Meta is the fact that their revenue is mainly dominated by things that are coming from the app, everything that's app related. So they have two segments or two ways of generating revenue. They have a family app, which is a segment of Facebook, the Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and the other apps. And then they also have what they call the reality labs, which is everything related to hardware, virtual reality, augmented reality, and all those Meta Horizons and etc. etc. As you can see here, the revenue is 98% dominated by the family of apps, and there is just a tiny bit that metaverse and the whole things around it brings. And this is really shocking if you think of the amount of money they spend on that thing. And what is more shocking actually is the next one, which is the operating margin. This is just the margin that each segment generate. So if you look at the family of apps, margin is quite good, 54% in Q4 2023, and then Q1 2024 it was 49%. That's quite good. But when you look at the reality labs, is shocking. It's basically all the money they spend, they don't get anything. It's like minus. This doesn't make any sense. Anything you want to say there?
So the figures do not lie, right? The loss on the investment or the capex on reality lab projects like Oculus, Quest, Meta Horizon, they are very bad for Meta. And that's what investors really don't like. And because the company has changed its name from Facebook to Meta, Mark Zuckerberg is persisting on making the metaverse a thing. But we can clearly see that the world and people don't want anything to do with the metaverse.
It's not.
Even you can get this same signal even from Apple. The Vision Pro this week has been cut to 50% because the demand for the Vision Pro is down.
That's very sad. And do you know what? Based on all the things we just said, it feels like Meta is a really bad buy or a very bad company. But what do you think of this company as a buy? Do you think the stock is a good buy or not? And why?
This is how I look at it. In the ads business, Meta and Google, especially Meta, is one of the best. when it comes to ad, and this is what investors also want, they just want Meta to focus on growing the ad business more. But it's very difficult because Zuckerberg has said it on the earnings call too, that they are hitting a point where it's very difficult to grow. There are two things that foreseen, right? Zuckerberg doesn't want to fall behind, especially in the tech ecosystem. This is why he's deploying 35 to 40 billion into AI in the metaverse. Zuckerberg, you have to realize that when the iPhone decided to turn off some features for tracking users for advertisement on the iPhone, Meta suffered a lot and they recovered. Zuckerberg doesn't want to go through that pain again. So what is he doing? He never wants to be platform dependent again. And that's what actually is bringing the announcement to Meta Horizon being open source. What Zuckerberg is trying to do there is to allow other manufacturers to also manufacture headsets, the Metaverse headset. And by doing that, it's going to popularize the product. And subsequently, by having an open source operating system for a headset like that, Meta will have control over the platform. And that's what Meta wants. They want to own a platform. They don't want to be dependent on iPhone, Apple, Google. They don't want that anymore in their business. But it's very difficult. And they pick a segment of the tech ecosystem that only a few people are excited about. People are not excited about the Vision Pro or the Quest. Or,
I mean, based on what you said, right? I mean, you haven't answered my question though, but yeah, based on what you said, what I can say in summary is that what Zuckerberg is trying to do is to make the headsets, basically make VR very mainstream. And he want to leverage all the manufacturers out there to get done for him. He will provide only the operating system. And me, what I think about this stock going forward is that I think Meta has a lot of great opportunity ahead of him, the company. And these are the following. So the first one is TikTok ban. I think this is an amazing opportunity for Meta because they have the Instagram Reels there. They have the YouTube Reels as well. So if TikTok were to be completely banned from the US and then the company that owns TikTok doesn't sell the US branch to anyone, all those influencers need a platform where they will be posting their short videos and etc. And Instagram is very well positioned to leverage this. So that's an amazingly good opportunity for them. And I think this can help them in generating a lot of revenue and a lot of growth. And also looking around on what analysts, mainly from JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, have been saying about the company, is that this is a great buy. So basically people at Goldman Sachs, they are saying that their target price on Meta stock is around $455, and they expect the stock to reach this point maybe in 1 year. But they think that's the ideal amount to spend on buying the stock. And at JP Morgan, I believe they are saying 535, and currently the stock is like $100 lower than that. Based on those, I would say that's a good buy. But again, this is not a financial advice. One thing I will add as well is that there are some risk in Meta. And the first one is about all the legal and regulatory headwind that's coming from the EU. So we hear that Apple had to pay a fee to the EU because of some of the laws that are broke here in Europe. And this is becoming something very common. And another thing is that there is the trial is between basically the state of Texas and Meta. And this as well will cost them some money if things were to go wrong. But overall, this is my summary for what I think of the stock.
I think we are not too far off. I also think the stock is a great buy. At these prices, I don't know, right? Because when you bought the stock at $100, $200, it's very hard to sit at $400 and buy. There is no business on this planet that doesn't advertise on Facebook. It's impossible to go around Facebook. Even if you have TikTok and YouTube, it's impossible. And being in the ad business is still one of the best business around. I don't know if you heard about Google earning calls, but they generate 80 billion in 3 months. That's
crazy, man.
Think about that.
We need to get into the ads.
That's all
business,
from ad. Most of it is from ads. I think 9 billion is from the cloud, but most of the money is coming from ads. So Meta is a great business, a great ad business. It's a good buy. I don't think just being in the stock alone is a good thing. Again, it's not financial advice, but it's a buy for me.
One thing that I wanted to mention as well or to discuss with you is around the whole metaverse, right? I was thinking that Zuckerberg would abandon this at some point, but it seems like he's not doing it. And funny enough, I believe that the augmented reality has more leg or has more potential versus the virtual headset, the VR. And according to some of the articles that I read, Zuckerberg didn't believe in the augmented reality. And he thought virtual reality is actually way better than the augmented one, and that the augmented one has more legs, and that's why he's doing all this. And then he was basically saying that they saw the software that are used for holographic display. So the second he saw those software and what those software can produce, that's when he decided to venture into virtual augmented reality as well, which was very, very strange for me because I thought AR was the future.
My thought on all those things are like they are pet projects to diversify the business. He's essentially throwing things at the wall and see what sticks. They have a lot of money. They don't know what to do with it. Right now, I think 58 billion in cash. That's what they have on their balance sheet. And based on that, they are going to spend over the next following years about 40 billion of that on either buying stock back or paying dividend and reinvesting in those research projects. Like the AI mania right now. He said something on the call that people were really mad about, that the AI investment they are making is not going to make any money in the next few years. If you're an investor, you're like, okay, so the stock is not worth this price because there is no growth here. Like you are just losing money again. You are doing what you were doing 2 years ago. So for me, I'll say again, the until proved to me that these businesses can generate some money. These are just pet projects, and we can just pray that nobody comes and disrupt the ad business for them, so that they can keep printing cash and throwing it away.
I think you are right. They are all doing the same thing, right? And the goal for all these founders, and here I'm talking about Elon Musk, the Sam Altman, the Mark Zuckerberg, and all these guys, they don't want to miss the next big thing. They don't want to miss that. All of them, they are just trying stuff and waiting to see if one of them is going to be the next big thing so that they ride that wave, because they need to diversify their business. The ad is not going to be there forever. Even Google, who is the king of ad, is being a little bit challenged by smaller companies or new entries on the market, such as Perplexity and etc. Yeah, they are just trying stuff, and these people, they are highly entrepreneurial as well. And that's where they fight, or the investors, they all think money, while the entrepreneur and the founder will just think of the next big thing and how to make maybe the world great, or how to bring one of his idea to life. So that's where the kind of dichotomy in a company comes in. But I think we've answered the question now. So